So over on YouTube live with the Purple Cat Collective. So we got both going. We're both going to monitor the chats, and this way, if you end up not catching this live, you can go over to YouTube and catch the live after the fact. So, hello, welcome. Oh, you're a genius for making it higher?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking about it.
Thank you.
This is what I used to do before I had a tripod.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's also what I did for online school.
Hello, everybody. Purple Cat. I knew it. Hello, how goes it?
Pretty okay. Headache.
I'm
Normal. It's how I feel normally.
I realized I didn't even ask. Is it us?
Yes.
Cool.
This is Charlie.
Yeah. We were hanging out yesterday, and you just have been front stuck a lot lately, and I didn't even ask.
That's okay. I always assume it's me
Hey.
too. I always assume it's me too.
Hello, Minnie Marie and the crew. You started your channel over here too? That's
Nice.
dope. We will check you out. And yes, for anyone who didn't know, we're over on YouTube too. And that means also if you have to dip out at any point, you can come back and rewatch the stream over on YouTube if you'd like. It's Charlie and S. Hey,
Hi.
Josh. How's life going?
What is this called again?
It's called Beef Cheeks. I think it's like Beef Cheeks Flavor Blast or something because it has the like flavor
Crust on it.
dots. Yeah, the flavor crust. Oh, she said we two are her favorite on TikTok. Sorry, I
Thank you
don't
so
mean to
much.
assume your gender. But they said we're their favorite on TikTok, and thank you.
Thank you. I never post anything, really, mostly.
Also, like absolutely, BPD and DID have a lot of
Overlaying symptoms.
Yeah.
I used to be diagnosed with BPD.
yeah. They're very much different in how they're structured, but they're very related.
Yes.
That makes sense.
They coexist on a sort of like level in terms of
Yeah.
psychological studies on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way that they look at it in terms of structural dissociation and stuff.
Yeah, so we knew each other before knowing that we were systems. We've known each other for like 4 years.
Yes. Almost 5.
When did you find out that it was not BPD?
When we started doing research for your stuff. And also because when we were diagnosed with BPD, it never felt very right. Because I never felt like I was ever like I ever felt those feelings. They always felt like they didn't belong to me.
Yeah.
And also a lot of the time I would have a lot of internal struggle. And I'd be like, I don't know why I feel this because these aren't my opinions and I don't feel this way. But to a doctor, a lot of the time that can also sound like you have like identity confusion, which is a part of BPD too. And it can also just sound like emotional regulation.
Yeah.
And also they both can form from trauma. Or
Yeah.
well, they both form from trauma mostly. Sometimes it's biological for BPD, but they're very seen as trauma based.
Yeah. And I always think that it's like, I mean, not necessarily like, it's just an interesting insight into how DID works and how your system keeps you from being aware of yourself until you're ready. That we started discovering our system. We talked to them because we've always related and our friendship has always had to do with mental health and everything. And so we told them about realizing that we thought we were a system. And so they, being incredible friends, started doing research on it to know how to be good friends to a system. And if you want to take over about how you had researched before, I don't need to tell your story for you.
Oh, you
I'm
mean
sorry.
in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, in high school, we actually, our old host researched DID because she was confused with how she felt. Because before we knew about BPD or DID, we just thought that like we were depressed and overly emotional because our mother, who is, a therapist, decided that that was also what was happening. And we discovered it, and then our brain essentially was like, fuck you. And then it just like took it off.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, if you start learning about DID and your system isn't ready for you to know about it,
it will just take that away from you.
yeah. Snatched. Your inner voice is your boyfriend's voice being very logical. Being logical, the only voice you fight in your head. I'm a little bit confused. I think I mostly understand. I'm sorry. Our body is 23.
We're 22. Our body is 22. Yeah, I mean, like, and I think sometimes it can confuse a lot of people depending on how, like, people decide to, like, explain it in terms of, like, your inner voice versus having, like, plurality versus, like, internal family systems and how that can change the way you hear your inner voice, too.
Yeah.
Because it is very possible to hear other voices in your head that don't feel like they're yours, but also just have that be a part of your brain coping with, like, having a mental health disorder in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't know how to convince my therapist to not take my diagnosis of DID because I have too good communication. I don't entirely understand the first sentence, but one thing I would really suggest, and I think this is an important thing to keep in mind in general, is absolutely, if you feel you are dealing with DID, you feel you're dealing with OSCD, you want to be seeing someone who believes that it exists. If they don't believe that it exists, you're not going to make progress. It's not worth it to work with them. But if you find someone who does believe that it exists and they're telling you that they think that you might not have that, while it can feel really discrediting to what you're going through, it could actually be really valuable and helpful for you to listen to them, because therapy isn't about you convincing your therapist of what you're going through. Therapy is about going in, sharing your experiences, and getting help. And the most help you're going to receive is if you go in with an open mind and being ready to be told, hey, I see what you're saying, and I think that you might be dealing with these other things. And, like, we were talking about this recently, like, if you think that you have DID and then you're told that you don't, and you find out that you don't, like, absolutely, that can be a hard pill to swallow because it can feel like you're crazy.
You're not.
No. But, like, that can be the internal feeling. And you can absolutely feel like you have done all this work and it was for nothing. But the reality is, if it turns out it's something else, then now you'll figure out what it is and can move forward more. And it would be so amazing to not have to deal with this.
It's not a bad thing to not have the diagnosis you think that you have.
Yeah.
Because in the end, treatment matters more than anything. And also, like, the thing about just any mental health disorder in general is it's not that you get the diagnosis that you want, it's that you get the treatment that's best for you. And I think we'll answer comments on both sides. It's just we didn't have any comments yet on the YouTube side.
Yes, we will be answering comments on both sides, and we have two of us, so we can monitor both. Cora, you need to back up a little bit and give more space.
You're so cute.
Firsthand how much it hurts when your therapist doesn't believe DID is a real diagnosis. Yes, absolutely. You should have a therapist who believes that your diagnosis that you believe you're working with exists.
They also asked on that side what our views are of doctor shopping.
I mean, my views are, again, find someone who you don't want to be working with someone who just straight up doesn't accept that the thing you think you're dealing with is a possibility for anyone. That's just not going to be conducive to progress.
But also, if you continuously go to different doctors and they tell you the same thing and they're all specialists, I would at a certain point just listen to them.
Yeah.
Because if you end up having the disorder, you will eventually get that diagnosis.
Yeah.
But until that point, what they're going to give you is what's going to help you at that point, because it's probably what they're seeing at that point.
Yeah, and, like, if you brain bump.
Don't go in, like, expecting a certain thing, because in the end, it's better to get what will help you and not what you think will help you in terms of, like, whether it's going to work or not in the beginning.
Yeah. And
because, like, I don't know, when we went in for our evaluation, the goal and our hope was that they would be like, this is actually not DID or OSCD, and what you actually have is this thing, and it's affecting your brain in that way, therefore you're thinking that you have it.
Yeah.
So that I would feel better, because in my head I was going in and I was like, they're going to tell me I'm wrong, and that's going to be fucking great.
Yeah.
And that's why I told no one,
Yeah.
really, until I got the diagnosis.
Yeah. And yeah, just like going in and being really open to being told something you weren't expecting and not viewing that as a threat. But yeah, and I saw your thing realistically, Aman, that yes, you were diagnosed before. That yes, I'm sorry, that then doesn't apply to your situation, but still is an important thing to talk about. But yes. Opinions on self-diagnosis. I think that we need to stop calling it self-diagnosis. Honestly, I think we need to come up with another term for it that's like self-assessment.
Like school, yes.
Yeah.
My self-assessment.
But like, because
no,
I don't think anyone who's self-diagnosing is being like, I have this and it's a medical fact. And they're not comparing it to a medical diagnosis. They're saying, I've done my research. I've talked to people. I've done a lot of self-work. I've done everything I can at this point. And this very much deep down, I know is what my reality is right now that I'm dealing with.
There's a difference between like those people and the people who people assume self-diagnosis is, and if you group in like the few with the whole, it's going to make you think a lot of bad things about everyone.
Yeah.
Because the reason that you're hearing more about the people who like claim things and then won't take any other opinions is because they're normally louder.
Yeah.
And just because someone is louder doesn't mean that they're right. Someone's louder doesn't mean anything particular about a group of people.
I have symptoms of, but it's not a diagnosis until it's officially diagnosed. Yeah, and I mean, I also do think at a certain point, like, especially DID, like the average time to get a DID diagnosis, and that does not mean it's every time. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the little kiss. The average time is 7 years. And like, you can absolutely be working with your therapist and have them say, yes, I know you have DID, but like, just paperwork wise and getting other people for second opinions and everything, like it can take a really long time. So I think that it's I do think that it is okay if you don't have a diagnosis written on paper to say, yes, I have this is what I'm dealing with.
It's okay to be self-assessed or like self-diagnosed. The only issue comes when you're unable to hear any other opinion.
Yes.
And also when you're unable to like accept that you should get help.
Yeah.
That's the only time I ever get like slightly upset with someone, and it's not that I don't believe their system, it's that I don't believe that they want to get help, and they should.
Yeah.
Help is really important. It's more important than what your diagnosis is getting help.
Sorry, just okay. Oh. I'm glad they sent you here. I hope that we can help in any way. I don't know. Oh, yay! We're making people feel less alone. Yeah, TikTok has a very good DID community. It's also toxic as hell, like any online community.
I've never seen an unproblematic space ever online.
Yeah. And yeah, the opinion on those who doctor shop is just that there's probably a lot of fear that's happening, and a lot of this is the only thing that makes sense to me, and I'm coming from a place of being traumatized and probably not having people who ever took you seriously throughout your life, and now actually trying to treat yourself well and take care of yourself and figure out what's going on. And so you go into spaces with all the guards up, ready to fight anyone who you feel is not taking you seriously and not listening to you because you've been traumatized. So I think that I absolutely understand why people do that, but I think it's something that needs to be recognized when they're doing it, and to slow down and start listening to the people who they're talking to, and do everything you can to stop viewing the people who are trying to help as yeah.
And like here's a thought I always have had on like doctor shopping is when you get something from a doctor and you don't necessarily think that they're right, before you immediately start searching for someone else, sit down with yourself first, because it's always worse to react to anything the minute that you start reacting to it.
Yeah.
Because even if it doesn't make sense, you need to understand why they said that to you before you go out of your way to find a new doctor.
Yeah.
Because that information will help inform, like, whether were you conveying the information in a way that makes sense to other people, or are you wording it in a way that helps you feel that you're fully expressing yourself, because there's a reason you feel incomplete when you get what you don't think you have.
Yeah. Hello. You're undiagnosed and recently found out? Yeah. Hello, you're in a wonderful space. And that's, again, like, this is the perfect space to be in. Other than also, like, being in therapy and doing what you can to get professional help, of course. This is the perfect space to be when you're questioning. And we've made TikToks before being like, you guys, it's not a bad thing to not know if you have it or not. And it is okay to be in that questioning phase. And it is okay to be open about it when you're in that questioning phase. And to ask questions and to do, like, self-searching. And it's okay if you're wrong for a little bit and you thought that you had it. And then you find out that you don't. And of course, you need to be respectful about the whole process. But, like, it's okay to not be sure. And the only thing that's really going to happen is you're going to learn more about a disorder that needs more awareness and education around it. And you're going to help that community.
And also the people who, like, actually matter in the, like, grand scheme of things are people who, if you do mistake your disorder, will accept that and will forgive you for it, because the thing is, everyone doesn't know anything most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, you guys made a video on this recently. In the end, there could be discoveries, like, years from now where they're like, DID isn't actually a thing, and here's what we're actually going to call it again.
Yeah.
And that already happened when they changed the diagnosis for multiple personality disorder to DID. And that could happen at any time, and it's just kind of like trusting psychology and science and going along with what's going to help you in the end.
This is the Purple Cat Collective. We have been friends for almost 5 years now, like you said before. Yeah. So before either of us knew about our systems, we are both systems. They're wonderful. This is S with me right now. I'm Charlie. What's one positive outcome of having DID that wouldn't have been possible without the disorder?
I think every positive that comes with DID is also negative at the same time. In terms of just DID in general.
It tends to be an iceberg. It's like the tip is like, yeah, there's a little positive, and then it's like there's all this that's connected to that.
Like, I guess the only positive I could say is that when I'm in a situation that makes me feel, like, very traumatized or, like, very triggered, like yesterday, after it happens, I don't necessarily remember most of it, and I don't feel very attached to it anymore. But also that's a negative thing, because I can't control as much when that happens. So at the end of the day, yes, like, if I have a negative experience, I won't feel a lot of emotional attachment to that anymore, because someone else will normally front or be close enough, or my brain will, like, be like, eat that and just, like, get rid of it. But also it takes away things like everyday memories of things. Like, today I was walking towards their apartment and I was like, I don't think I ate today. I think I ate today. I don't think I ate today. I didn't eat today. But at some point. But I was like, I have this memory, I think I ate. And I was like, that was 4 days ago. I have eaten in the last 3 days. I just meant, like, the thought I was having was like, no, I didn't eat, like, today. That was, like, a couple of days ago that I'm remembering this memory of eating.
Yeah.
So it can get in the way of everyday function. It can get in the way of hanging out with the people that you want to hang out with. And that can be positive during a traumatic experience, and it can be horrible during the everyday.
Yeah, like, pretty much anything you could come up with, there's a negative that's directly tied to it that's really bad. The only thing, because we get asked this a lot, the only thing we've consistently come up with is that you get a semi-refined sense of humor because you usually have an audience.
Yes.
Even if you don't have an audience, actually, you know that there's a possibility that there are people watching, so you can just kind of, like, say a joke to the air, and you're like, maybe someone thought that was funny, I don't know. They're not going to tell me, but that's fine. But, like, in actual reality, there aren't positives of DID.
There are things I would say that are, a lot of things are, like, lukewarm, depending on where you are in your life. It's like, meh.
And there are like things where you can find the positive within something, but it itself isn't a positive. Hello, yes, thank you for coming on over to YouTube. We're alive. Without it, we wouldn't be. Yep. Yep. Cora says, I want to be a part of this thing. I want to be where the people are. Oh, it totally doesn't matter. We're having it on both TikTok and YouTube, but it's just going to end up staying over on YouTube more. I mean, not more. It won't stay on TikTok at all. So it'll stay up after the fact on YouTube. So it's only a slight upside that over on YouTube, if we're talking to this screen, we'll actually, after the fact, when people watch it back, we won't be looking over to the side as much, but I don't think it really matters at all. It's not like this is crazy high production quality.
Sweet pea. Hi, sweet
Cora.
Hi, sweet pea.
She loves them.
Hi, sweetie. You're a cute baby. I love you.
You got a saddle.
I sure.
Ow.
See, that's where you got your
That's
bruise.
how, we have a bruise like on our forehead. Cora?
That was a thunk. That sounded hollow thunk.
Yeah.
Hi, Corey.
So monetary wise, I don't really know. I do know that overall YouTube, like as a platform, does like pay creators more, but we also are not monetized on YouTube yet. But then like we have way more followers on TikTok, so more people being on here will get more people to see it. So I don't know how it all works, and it doesn't really matter. Just wherever you want to be there. Yes, her eyebrows are very expressive. Have extra masks when you go through Cali, yeah. Yeah. We'll just drive through a fire. It'll be chill.
Next time we see you before you leave, we'll give you extra masks.
Oh, Keller has, I think, no, it's in my car, like a pile of like 100 masks.
Good.
We're good. His mom sends him
Masks.
so much.
Nice.
Yes, it's Charlie and S.
Hi, Cora. Don't lick your claws.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Sal. And being a puppy magnet is the best thing to be.
Yes, dogs like me a lot, even though I'm a cat person. I do like Cora better than all dogs. More than my own, I must say. I love Cora.
Yeah. They came over and immediately started shit talking their dog.
Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. I really like doing live streams with you guys.
Thank you. I just don't censor myself most of the time.
Yeah.
Is that a bad thing? Potentially. In the future, maybe.
No.
But, right now, who cares?
Fuzzy faces, sloths, yes. She's a puppy. The best? Not so sure, but. Hi, Maddie. Ooh, what are you embroidering? What? Hi, Rex.
Her ears are so clean for him.
You want to know a fun fact? That sounds horrible, but like I promise we monitor it. We've never cleaned her ears.
What the heck? I clean Ludo's ears all the time and they're still dirty.
Yeah, and dogs get ear infections and stuff all the time, and we monitor her ears all the time and check them, and I don't know why. Her ears stay so clean.
That's all I want. For Ludo to be hygienic. It's because he's a boy.
She's just self-cleaning, like all around. Like, it's
Or-
kind of crazy.
Why are you perfect? Just because you're a girl.
All the pronouns. Perfect. Mountains, yes, please send us a picture on Instagram. That would be wonderful. I would love to see the embroidered mountains.
Hey, senior portraits.
Hey. Oh, Kelly, son, we love hanging out with you. We're going to hang out with you in person soon. For anyone else in the San Francisco area, we're going to be there for like a few days. So we're going to do some park meetups.
Is that when you're gonna be around? Were you visiting in San Francisco?
San Francisco, we're visiting the Hubble system.
Okay.
Yeah. We're visiting who I think you just said down in LA.
Okay.
Yeah. We are on YouTube, yes, but we are also over here on TikTok. We're on both. Both is good. We're going to Texas. You're in Texas? That's literally our end destination. What part of Texas are you in? Because we're going to pick Keller up from the camp he's working at in Texas. So we're going down to LA and then over to Texas.
Shoulder.
Shoulder before.
The shoulder.
I'm just thinking about Hodor.
Oh.
Hey. Dallas, hell yeah. I think we're going to Dallas. Is that like, that's very, very East Texas, right? We might not actually be going. We'll see. I'll let you know. Hey, doing pretty good. How are you? Packing for a holiday. Where are you going? Oh, it's nice to see you guys over here people who the usernames I'm used to seeing you guys over here. 16 and growing? Yeah, when we first found out, we knew about 14, and now we know 38. Cora, space, back up. That's not back up.
It's called big stretch.
Yeah. Be firm with her and just tell her space if you want her to give you space.
That's okay.
Okay. Or just tell us to do that, and we will. I'm sorry. That's not cool, and I'm glad that she broke up with her boyfriend, but I hope that you guys are doing okay. Very cool. To the countryside. Yes.
Where is the system?
So they said they're in Dallas.
Dallas, Texas.
So yeah, we will let you know if we come nearby. I know. So we may be going to Houston, and I think Houston is kind of near Dallas. I'm sure that it's still several hours away, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Your dog reacts every time we give Cora commands. Oh. And we're going to get to meet the A system when we're in Texas, which will be fun.
I always forget America's connected.
Right? Well, also Texas is just like its own whole place.
Our old roommate from college drove from Texas all the way to Seattle to move in with all of their stuff. Oh my god, the 2 a.m. mood.
2 a.m. in the UK, yeah. That is okay. It's on YouTube, so if you want to come back and watch it, it'll be up.
This is the truth.
You can re-watch.
That's the good part of it.
Yay.
I like waking up and seeing the YouTube live that you guys do, because then what I do is I go back to sleep and then I watch it later.
You don't have to re-watch our live stream.
I watch all of the live streams that you do, and I like all of them so that you get more likes on the YouTubes, and I also like and copy link for all of your TikToks.
You're too nice.
And if I have anything to say, I'll say a lot, because I always say fucking a lot, because I can't condense myself.
Yes, we will let you know if we ever go by Wisconsin. I don't know when that would happen, but yes. Hey, Haley, how are you? Hello, Analog System. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, we have 11 on both YouTube and on TikTok.
It's 22.
Yeah.
Why did I need to feel thing to say that simple math?
Because it's repeating.
I do like to repeat
It's a special
things.
number. Oh my guts. Space. Okay, buddy. Off. All the way off. Now, please. No. Off. She's like, but they're here. Go girl.
My off is 2 inches, is what she's telling you.
Yeah. and she still didn't get off the couch, but she got off of like that. That's a very specific section of the couch.
Yeah.
This is a very big couch. Keller has a giant couch. We're at Keller's house, even though he hasn't been in Seattle in a week. How long has it been since we've been at our home? Why are we still paying rent there?
Well, eventually your leases will end and you can move in together.
Yeah, we'll see.
Couldn't you guys just move both into here?
We have talked about it, and if we live together, we want to live in a 2-bedroom, and ideally move somewhere where there's a yard for her. But we will see.
With the parent money.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh no, our lease is up in October, and the place that we reached was after this road trip back, we will know for sure whether or not we want to move in together. You're in Florida? Florida scares me. Florida really scares me.
Squatting, yes.
Yeah, well, also he was like, please stay there and clean some stuff. And, well, like, he didn't actually say please clean some stuff, but we need to clean some stuff because, like, there's dishes. Well, actually, we did do the dishes all today. But there's, like, stuff that needs to be done to make sure that there's not, like, a maggot infestation when we get back. And then, like, he has a friend who's going to drop by to pick something up, and he's not here, so, like,
Okay.
it was planned that we were going to stay here for a little bit, and it's just a nicer place. Where are you originally from, if you want to
We're
share?
from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yes. The nice place that all the tourists are going to, and now there's a water shortage on one of the islands. We love
Really?
it. And the numbers of COVID went down to like in like the 2 digits, and then tourism went up, and now it's in 3 digits again. So they're telling people on Maui, they're like, if it's not essential water, don't use water, or we'll fine you $500 because we need to use it for the tourist hotels.
That's disgusting.
Space car.
Oh my goodness, thank you. Are you just like acting like you're reverse sneezing just to get attention? Is that what's happening right now? Because I think that that's what's happening right now. She definitely sometimes fakes reverse sneezes.
So that you can look at her.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because then she'll just immediately stop it and be like, yeah? Okay, cool. Space. Good girl.
Does she walk backwards?
Sometimes.
Ludo mostly
Rarely.
walks backwards. If he ever has to go back, he
Yeah.
backtracks by walking backwards and then hits things because he doesn't realize he's not walking in a straight line backwards. He's just moving backwards.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. One of our like old childhood friends just messaged us. I wonder if they're here on this stream because they do follow us on here. Maybe they saw us. I don't know. But we need to message them back after this. And we're gonna see them. We need to message them to hang out because we're gonna be in our hometown in just a few days.
The Oregon one?
Happy, yeah. Your cat will make noises and pretend to eat something off the floor, so it'll go to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Do I do
leave?
that? Do I leave? Do I leave? Do I lose? Do I get up and leaves? No, not yet. No, I don't. Sometimes we'll do that, but only if there's edibles. We have really bad asthma, so we won't do anything that can like make it aggravated. Because we're really dumb when we don't carry our rescue inhaler with us, like we probably should. And also because it makes us normally really anxious.
Yeah.
There's like one specific edible brand that we had once, and we still own. It's the only one that doesn't make us anxious.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know anything about strains, so I don't know what it is, but it's nice. And we only eat it when we're with friends.
Yeah.
We drink, but not that much anymore. For anyone that does like trigger warning for like alcohol and like talking about that. But if anyone has a problem with alcohol, what we've done, which is like helped a lot, is we will only buy alcohol that our partner likes, but we absolutely hate.
Yeah.
So that if we do drink, we barely drink, and it's helped so much.
Yeah. We got misprescribed pain medication and therefore ended up developing an allergy to pain medication. So we have our medical card, and we definitely do leaves. We do leaves. Yeah. Hello, just so you know, just a heads up. Littles are absolutely, like, if your system is comfortable with you being here, and if you're comfortable being here, you are absolutely welcome to stay. That being said, all of our content does have an 18 plus warning. We are never going to commit to censoring ourselves, and we will end up having adult conversations. So I know that littles and systems, age can be a different thing. Our littles have been with us our whole life, so they have a lot of experience. So they're very comfortable in spaces that might be like that, but some won't be. And especially, like, please check in with someone in your system if you're able to, and see if they feel comfortable with you staying, and if you feel comfortable staying.
Yeah. We've been told to use that.
Yeah.
The CBD stuff for sleeping.
There's at the little corner store up here, it's like a total, like, shitty little bodega corner store, and they have this, like, really, they have this one case that has, like, different, like, drinks and stuff and bottles that has, like, kombucha and stuff, and then they have these, like, fancy CBD sodas that are in these, like, they're in these cans, but the cans feel like fabric. Because there's just, like, a weird print on the outside that's, like, a weird thing. It's still metal, but it, like, feels really soft. It's really weird. But it's really funny because it's just this, like, crappy little bodega, and then it has, like, this fancy CBD soda fridge. You still sing and hum Purple Cat System song?
Oh, thank you so much.
If you're an alter.
Oh my god,
system.
I can't believe I did that. I put that online.
We made one too.
I know you.
Yeah.
I sang your song.
Yeah.
I didn't sing it. I did the thing with it.
Yeah.
Joe made that. I'll go back and I'll do it with you, but then I'll just do a thing and I'll do a harmony to it. I'll do it 4 times, so then you have a 4-part harmony.
Yes. Please just redo it, because Joe did it and she didn't put any effort into the singing. It was just like, here's an idea. What are we talking about? I don't know. Just whatever comes up, you know? Short-term memory is non-existent. That's okay. And again, like, it just, if you are not supposed to be in this space, that's okay. And, like, there will be other live streams and other places to talk. And if you are a little and you're fronting and your system doesn't want you here, we would appreciate if you would respect your system's wishes with that. And that's nothing against you. It's just safety. No, like, I literally don't remember. Like, short-term memory doesn't exist. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the
alter
system
songs. Yeah. We made a song, Joe made a song that was, like, it was a play off of the, like, here's my song so you can get to know me. It starts with a name, something. And she made that, but for alters and systems, and rewrote the words a little bit. So it was, like, specifically to be able to share things about yourself as an individual, as a member of a system. And then they went and made a much better, much more original thing with, like, a ukulele and, like, an actual original melody and stuff. And it was amazing.
We like to write music.
And they're good at it. Oh.
Oh yes, that one. That was for System Pride Day. They're talking about that one. Every system is valid. Every system is real. There's no way to describe just how everyone should feel.
Sing it again. I'm not going to be able to remember if you don't sing it.
I don't remember what it sounds like. I just know what the lyrics were. Because it was a poem before it was a song.
I remember it.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to sing it.
No, well, I don't even know what it sounds like. I just know the words.
Hey, we just decided today that we were going to start calling them the PCC.
You know what I think about that? Actually, I think about the marketplace.
Me too.
Yeah.
PCC.
High speed blood.
Yes, absolutely. We always say that if there are littles here, we always ask that they check in with people in their system. And I'm glad that we can help you feel less lonely going through that breakup. And I'm sorry that you're going through that.
Yes.
But it sounds like it was a positive thing. Yeah. If you're asking that, then you're probably not. That's from the
That's from the
thing.
song,
Yeah. Was that about the if you think you're faking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we wrote
Yeah.
2 system songs. We wrote a 3rd one. We just never posted it.
I want to hear it.
I don't remember it.
There's a puppy.
Yes. Chorus sings the songs.
Oh.
Hi, Cora. Your tail is like so destructive. Your tail is everything and also so much at the same time. But her tail is longer than any rose I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like
Cora?
a special force.
Buddy. Space. Hey, Cora, off. Off. Space. All the way off. Go on. Good girl. Good girl. Can you sit? Sit. Good. And lay down. You're being bad at listening today. Lay down. That was the opposite of lay down. Lay down, Cora. Thank you. Stay. She's being a little bit. Y'all's realness and openness is part of why we opened up.
They've always been real and open.
They're you too.
I don't know. I just don't have a filter because I can't get myself to care anymore. I can't get myself to care anymore. I'm so tired of it. I got tired of it when I was a first year in college.
Yep.
It's like I don't live at home anymore. My parents can't hear me.
Oh, you are okay. You're okay. That's greatness. Truly. I feel like you guys inspire us with that a lot about just being able to be like, it doesn't matter.
No, I have a lot of apathy.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, and this happens a lot. That's why we've been thinking about this a lot. Is like we have a lot of friends, and also we don't have a lot of friends at the same time because we have a lot of friends. We just don't keep up with them. We don't need them in our life at the point that we have.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing about like positive apathy is that you will continue to make friends and have people in your life who care about you throughout your whole life. So if anyone leaves or anyone hurts your feelings, the thing is, if you do drop them, you will make more friends, and it will feel like painful, but you will have people in your life. The thing is, like, you literally can't exist without people being in your life. So eventually you will find good ones because there are actually more better people than people think there are. Just people never really put the effort into knowing anyone.
Yeah.
And at that point, that's when you start to feel lonely.
Of course. I mean, we're just here. We're just experiencing life and sharing our experiences and thoughts. What are your opinions on alters dating other alters within the same system? I mean, it just kind of depends on how your system functions and your amount of access to the inner world. I know that we definitely have people in our system who, like, we know each other and we know each other's energies and each other's vibes and stuff, but most of us don't have super clear access to the inner world. So there are definitely people who have, like, mutually recognized attraction and, like, appreciation for each other. But it's not, at least for us, like something that would be full dating because we don't really have access to our inner world. So it's just kind of like, your vibe's hot. Your vibe's hot too. Cool. And then like every once in a while, when someone will front, they'll just go back and find the other person's videos and watch them a few extra times. I've caught Nadia a few times watching Joe's videos on repeat.
Look.
We all watch Joe's videos.
It's fine. Nadia's also hot. It's fine.
Yeah.
I went through, when I made your intro video, I looked through your TikTok to find like the hottest videos of them to put. Anyone that wasn't a thirst trap that was hot, I put in the video.
Yeah. They deserve that.
Cora.
You're being real pushy right now. I'm getting kind of unhappy with you. Can you back up, please?
Hello? What was that?
Cora, stand. Off. All the way off. Nope. Nope. Off. Good girl. Stay down. Good girl. Stay. Okay. Sorry for the like serious voice. She just sometimes needs that to listen. She's still a puppy. Very cool. What are your thoughts on
Interstate dating? I mean, I don't really care what people do.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't affect the way that our like outward life works and doesn't hurt other people's feelings in the system, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like the thing about dating is that dating is just dating.
Yeah.
It only really ever gets more serious than dating once you're like married.
Yeah. Well, and also like, really, I don't know, and maybe this is not a common thing for systems. I feel like it's definitely something that our system, for the most part, seems to pretty much agree on. But then also we do see other systems that are very, very specific about labels and really take a lot of comfort in them. So I don't know. But labels just mean less and less to us over time. And it's like gender, sexuality, relationship definitions. Like, does anything matter? Like, how we're dating our partner, Keller, like, there are several adults in our system who are dating him, but also like we haven't sat down and people haven't like sat down and been like, okay, are we in a relationship? No, but we do, like, we don't have like specifically defined relationships with him. It's just our system is comfortable with him and we figure out what the boundaries are.
And also it's like sometimes alters will want to date someone, they won't have enough time to date them really.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have alters in our system who would love to date our partner or my partner because I'm the only one who's ever talked with her about it. One of them is very in love with her, but the thing is like she doesn't run enough where, you know, they could really call it a relationship. So labels only mean as much as you give them power.
Yeah.
But also like in terms of systems, it can really vary. There can be like alters like in your system and stuff where like you might want to date but you don't get to see each other enough.
Yeah.
And also just like the more you pressure yourself to know about that if it doesn't have anything to do with like actual consent, the less time you have to enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Because that's just you'll overthink it.
Yeah. And I think that that's kind of a thing that, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of a trap that that's not necessarily a bad thing, but a trap that we see a lot of new systems, and we went through it too, going through in the beginning of discovery of like really feeling the need to over the top identify every identifier about different alters and to be like to list it all and to figure it all out and map everything out and let everyone know all the very specific things and be like these are the people and these are our roles and this is what we look like. And just over time it's been like, wow, none of that matters. Like maybe it gives you a little bit more peace of mind when you're learning and you're like learning to accept that you're different. And that's probably where it comes from. But like,
Also, a lot of the times you might not actually have that many differences because a lot of systems also have a lot of alters who are very covert. Like, 3 of the alters in our system who, well, actually, no, I would say like the 5 members of our system in front, other than me, and they don't even front that much. Even though like we have different opinions, sometimes we like a lot of the same things. We like similar clothing, and that can also just be a part of your brain being like, you know, what would be really helpful if you all just liked big sweaters and you all liked theater. That would be really sweet. So that you could all live the life and not talk about it. And also, just like a thing to throw out into like the void is also that you and your system don't necessarily have to be friends or family. You can also just coexist. I think people put a lot of emphasis on like being a family, but if you don't feel that way, you don't have to. Like, our system doesn't feel like we're a family.
I feel like you just need to have at least like a coworker relationship.
Just be like, can we like be chill?
Yeah.
And have like nice discussions about things we don't agree on.
And be like at least okay with being in the same place and being productive.
Like, can we all agree that we'll like sort of just like, at least if you don't like it, be okay with this job? Nice.
Any alters that see themselves as a different color? We do. It's something that you need to be careful about how you talk about it. It's something that the community has had a lot of conversations about and is still having a lot of conversations about and probably will always have conversations about because it's uncomfortable. And
I mean, and it goes both ways. Like, we have alters in our system who look white. It's just like you need to figure out how you want to utilize language about it. Because it doesn't matter until the language utilized becomes harmful.
And like,
and also you can have personal opinions that you just don't say to the world because you know better than to say them. Because the biggest thing about it is you can feel any way that you want to about any situation. It only becomes a problem when you become harmful. Like, and I think this all the time with like the arguments that I see on TikTok, right? So if you have an alter in your head, or like in your head, in the body's head, in the brain that exists in the vessel, in the train, in the coal that powers the train, in the shell.
That's why you hatch.
Yes, you hatch from the shell. But sorry, if you have a system mate who is like an alter of color, right, and they want to fully believe like one thing about like their existence, and they believe this is the only thing, and you all recognize that language is harmful, then as long as they never express it out to people and like into the social media world, in all technicality, it's fine. It's how I feel all the time with like a lot of opinions. You can have opinions that don't fit in with the rest, and you can have opinions that are technically harmful. It's how I feel a lot with people who are like homophobic or anything. Like, I don't give a shit about your opinion. Just don't say it if it's hurtful.
The people who think that people can be racist to white people.
You can feel that way for your whole life. Just don't say it.
You can feel hurt. That's fine.
No one's saying you can't feel hurt. No one's saying you can't feel the way you feel. They're just saying don't hurt the people with it.
And with having alters who don't match the body, it's important to not claim other cultures. And that's kind of the consensus that the majority of the community has come to. And like, so we have alters who will present internally as different races. They will never, like Ivy presents internally as Black. She will never have the experience of being Black in this world. She will only ever have life experiences through a white body. So she can't claim to be a part of that community, to have those experiences, to understand what that's like, to speak on those subjects. It's just that she appears a certain way internally. And a lot of people will be like, it's impossible for alters to be another race, and that's evidence that someone's faking. And it's like, no, alters can be animals. Altars can be rocks. If an altar can be a rock, an altar can be a person who looks different.
Also, just like in terms of that, also like there's like a whole debate about inner worlds, right? Inner worlds can be completely intricate. You can literally have an inner world that like has its own other planet. Like
Yeah.
you can have your own like I like to call them what are they even called in games? Non-playable characters, NPCs. You can have NPCs in your inner world that like are humans that aren't in your system who live their everyday life. And there can be different experiences that happen in that headspace that feel like they might represent like what is in the real world, right? Like there can be inner world racism, but that racism is a different experience than outer world racism, and it can still be just as heartful. But you cannot claim that you've had the same experience as someone who lives that life in the outer world. Because we've talked about this a lot in terms of like the effect that it can have is like there's a difference of knowing that like in the inner world you as an alter will always end up being like okay in terms of like you will never die unless you integrate, and you will never like disappear unless you maybe go into dormancy. If your body isn't white and something racist happens to you, that is a risk that's legitimately that could like affect everyone in your system.
Cora, off. Yeah, you will never lose your life because of racism if you are in a white body. Like, it's a very important ultimate
distinction.
Yeah.
You didn't offend anyone.
No, not at all. It's an important conversation that needs to keep happening. And yes, thank you. Thank you. I mean, if anyone ever wants to do anything that, like, we don't personally have any religious or spiritual solid beliefs, but, like, if anyone ever wants to put whatever good energy out into the world in whatever way they believe towards us, we are very grateful, and we will only ever be grateful for that.
She's looking.
Are you a sad little puppy? I'm doing the voice that I did in the video yesterday when I said, but we want to be ableist. We want to make fun of disabled people.
Laura's having something to say. Her mouth is opening and she has a response to that.
If anyone didn't see the video, it was us explaining how our video talking about how the mental health community gets constantly harassed and targeted, and that video got mass reported and taken down for harassment and bullying. So we were talking about how the people who make it their life purpose to bully mentally ill trauma survivors online, apparently it's bullying them to just acknowledge the fact that they do that. Thank you. Advice for what? I hear that. I will tell you, we are never going to commit, especially in live streams, to being able to censor, to remember certain triggers. So if you're someone or you have people in your system who have specific triggers, that things that could be mentioned could be harmful for you, our live streams might not be a safe place for you. And I'm sorry that we can't provide that, but it's just not something that we're able to do. I am sorry that that's a part of your trauma, though, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but we just can't.
It's a lot of all that responsibility to put on someone who is live streaming.
Yeah.
Remember everyone's triggers, especially in a community that's filled with triggers.
Yeah.
And filled with people who have triggers.
Yeah. And just kind of in general, just a heads up for people, like, and I don't mean this in any negative way, but we definitely notice a a common, I don't want to use the word trend because whatever, but like a lot of people will come into these live streams.
Common occurrence.
Yes, a common occurrence. Especially like if they're new to our channel, and they will come in and introduce themselves and introduce like their whole, like their pronouns and their history and their triggers and their everything and their relationships inside their system. And like there's a time and a place for that, but a live stream might not be it. It's only going to stress us out and make us feel like we're supposed to respond to all that and validate it or something, and it feels bad to ignore it, but then it's such a long message and there's nothing really to say to it because you're just a person and we're meeting you and we're getting to know you, and like you wouldn't tell all that to a random person when you first meet them. You're just like, hey, this is me. And as you get to know each other, you get to know each other. So like I understand, especially being a part of a system, wanting people to understand that you're an individual, but also just a heads up, that's kind of how it feels from our side when we're like getting someone's life story whenever they join our live streams. And it just feels bad because we aren't going to remember. We're not going to remember your names. We likely, if the chat's moving fast, won't remember
Your question.
Yeah, your question or like what you said earlier and recognize your username. The best we can do is recognize the pictures and usernames. But like, so there's nothing wrong with sharing things about yourself, but I think that that's kind of a cultural trap that systems fall into online. It doesn't need to happen.
Ask any questions you want. There's a difference between having something to say leading up to a question and giving context before a question and just saying something to put it into the world.
Yeah.
Because in the end, when you put something into the world and no response, you will feel emptier than you did before you posted that. So it's also understanding why you're responding the way you do and whether that's going to actually benefit you or not.
Yeah. And like we're here to have a conversation and to ask questions and to talk about topics, but like we're not, this is not the space that we're making to get to know all the details about someone else's system. And I'm sorry, but that's just not what this space is. We're not talking to anyone in particular right now. It's just something that regularly happens. And
it happens in most live streams I see that have systems in them.
Yeah. And I think it's just something we haven't addressed it before.
People normally don't address it.
Yeah.
But it's important.
No. You are absolutely okay. You have always, I've never noticed you doing that. It's just like,
it's also not necessarily offensive. It's just something that like you should consider.
Yeah. And just like, I don't think that people mention it because there's a lot of fear of if you say anything that is at all like, maybe don't do this when it's about system stuff, people can get so defensive.
Yeah.
And it's not anything that's negative, but it is really uncomfortable when you're the one doing the live stream to be like, cool. I don't know. Anyways, we can move on. Yes, we both found out about our systems. Well, no, we had gone on medical leave by then. But you were still in college.
You had gone on medical leave. We were still in college.
Okay. Cora is very cute. No, you are totally okay. I don't know what message
They were
you just
asking if they could ask a question.
Oh, absolutely, you can ask a question. Please do.
And also, just like because we say that doesn't mean that we're upset.
No.
There's a difference. Like, I think a lot of the time with people who have trauma, it can feel like when someone says something, it's like automatically that it means that they're upset. Most of the time, I don't think people actually are upset when they say something like that. They're literally just saying like, might be why you think that we're not responding to you.
Yeah.
And like, that's important for you to know so that you don't think that we don't want to.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who will come into our live streams and engage a lot, but they won't actually be engaging in the conversation that's happening. And instead they'll just be giving information about their system while we're having a conversation with other people. So sometimes we just won't respond. And then they're like, are our messages not going through? And it's like, they are. I just it's not connected to the topic, and I don't know, you're not asking questions either, so I don't know
what to say in response.
there's nothing to respond to, really.
Someone said something beforehand. What was that?
This isn't necessarily the best advice to stop dissociating, but our advice is always to stop fighting it. Because if you don't want to dissociate and you fight it, you're going to dissociate, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to last a long time and be a slow, hard process. If you're starting to dissociate and you decide not to fight it, you are going to dissociate, but it's going to be a lot smoother and less painful and be over quicker, generally. Hey, silly bug.
And if you are looking for like something that at least makes your dissociation shorter, a good way to go about that would be maybe to build your own grounding techniques. Every person has a different grounding technique. Every system is going to prefer certain grounding techniques, and it might not make it any better, but it will help in the long run to build grounding techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Because also a lot of people will stop learning grounding techniques because it takes a while, but you actually have to build grounding techniques up. It's like when you put a dot on your hand so you can do like, what is it called? It's when you have like sleep and then you can REM.
Yeah.
A lot of people will train their minds like with a dot to remember in REM sleep that they're dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar with dissociation, building a grounding technique. You find what starts to work for you, you build on it, and eventually it will help the dissociation last less if it's not leading up to a switch.
Yeah. And yeah, not fighting your dissociation because of the side effects, absolutely. Headaches are the worst. And you are totally okay. You're totally okay, Jay. Inner system, same system relationships. We were talking about that earlier, and just basically like what people are going to do is what they do, and why does it matter? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a medication for it, then sure. Not to be like rude, but like, I don't know what system wouldn't want to take medication to make the symptoms better.
Yeah, but also like DID isn't
It's not
something
gonna
that's
work that way.
Yeah, it's not really a medication treatable thing, but there are things that you could use to treat the symptoms, like the fact that switching headaches usually won't go away with general pain medication. So maybe they could find a way to make pain medication that would actually help with switching headaches.
Yes.
Maybe things that could help
Sometimes
you.
I think that might be why I have constant headaches.
Yeah.
But
like stuff like that, and stuff to kind of bring down those walls and make it a little bit easier. But I don't think that there's anything that could ever exist because of how DID is structured that would take away the DID.
if it could, give it to me.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Sometimes I think about this.
Yeah.
If I could magically find a way to take a pill, right?
Yeah.
And it just makes everyone happy with their existence, and we all just conglomerate into a new blob that will not ever split again, I think we would all take it.
See, I just think about if there was like a cloning device, but like we don't have to look the same, but just a thing where we
Oh my God, if we could
like
just be
take it
Sims.
and just into all of our own bodies. It's okay if we're all our own bodies, but like all together the mass equals this, so we're all like bodies that are this tall. That's okay.
You build your own Sims town,
Yeah.
but it's like cardboard trees.
Yeah, we're like just in a living room,
It's
and
like
that's
a
our entire
miniature-
world.
It's a miniature train set.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
Good night. Yeah.
I think
Try a daith piercing. It's helping us so far. It's not been a cure, but it's helping. Yeah. Well, and it just like that's, if you think about just logically how DID works.
there's not an actual way to create a medication. Maybe in the future,
Yeah.
but definitely not with the technology we have now.
Yeah.
If they can't even make like children out of like the eggs and like transforming an egg into a sperm of two like femme people,
Yeah.
then they will not be able to create a medication for DID.
It's just like the reality is it's not schizophrenia. It's not that you're hearing voices.
It's not a hallucination. It's not a delusion. It can come
Yeah.
with it, but it's not that.
Yeah, and it's literally just, we keep using this example and I'm liking it more every time we use it. It's that you're a being, amnesia separates you because you can't deal with knowing everything at once. So you get separated so that someone is there to know about the bad things and someone is there to not know about the bad things so they can not.
Well, it's basically a good way to also look at it if we don't take it as seriously, you know, in terms of like making sure everyone's feelings feel good all the time. Is like DID is like a coping mechanism, and it's the same thing as having like a specific thing that you follow from therapy as a coping mechanism. Coping mechanisms and things that like have to do with the way that you psychologically like conditioned your own brain growing up and like how that works, that can't be treated with medication because that is something that you have programmed yourself to do. It has nothing to do technically with like being able to change your like brain component. It's not a medical thing.
Yeah.
It's a way of like that your body has created to exist.
Yeah.
So medication can't treat that because medication also can't be like, I'm going to give you this medication and now every time that you are anxious, you will be able to breathe and it'll calm down. Like that's not.
Well, and also like how this works is
if medication could take away triggers, that'd be cool. Doesn't happen though.
But then also it's just the reality that I think a lot of people think a medication for DID would take away the alters.
It wouldn't.
Everyone is an alter in a system, but then also like even if you really have someone who's like the host who fronts all the time and everything, and feels like from the outside the logical that's who would. I'm saying all this with like the people who don't know how DID works, that logic.
Yeah.
How it works is there's that amnesia, so there's that separation, and then you grow as different people, but you're both real people. You're both still very real parts of the whole.
I think people also just have a hard time like connecting to it because they have to believe in certain aspects of psychology, or like they might have religious beliefs that contradict against the way that scientists explain DID.
Mm-hmm.
So like you also have to believe in like the way that the brain develops is different than like a soul. Mm-hmm. And like those sorts of things, which is why I think a lot of people don't get it.
Yeah.
Because like here's also the thing. When someone says they're two different people when they're talking about a system, they do not want you to picture two separate bodies, as in like they both exist on like a physical level.
Yeah.
Because that's why it's called dissociative identity disorder. They're alternate states of identity. That's why people say alters sometimes instead of saying like people or headmates. It's because in all technicality, everyone knows that they're not like, there's not like a physical little thing in your head moving around. Like
you don't have a little room where people are sitting down like
physically like being able to like hold a fork in their hand. Like that's not how it works. So
it's a fork.
It's a fork. Like I think that's why people don't understand when people say people.
Yeah.
Like it's not like we're asking you to imagine that.
Yeah.
We're asking you to imagine like what people would consider a state of consciousness.
Yeah.
If there are two states of consciousness and they also become three because bad things are happening, then your brain will be like, oh, I can make different states of consciousness that'll like not remember things and like they can like do the different things.
Well, and it's important to remember also that like it's not just different states of consciousness, because when you hear, well, it is, but when you hear that,
it becomes with less like respect, but like you have to respect it in general.
Well, no. What I'm saying is like when you hear that, it's really easy to think, oh, then that's just the kind of thing of like you're a different person at work than you're a different person at home, and your brain like functions a little differently and you're using different parts of your brain. That's not what it is. We made this video recently and it hasn't really gotten that many views, and I'm a little bit pissed about it because I think that it's great.
If you tell us which one it is after this, we'll just repost it on our account.
But I think that it's a great one, and I think that it really will help people who don't understand DID, is that amnesia happens to split things. So they're two different people. And yes, they exist in the same thing, and maybe they came from the same whole and everything, but now there is a separation. And people who have different experiences will grow into different people. When you become the product of your life experiences and choices. And the longer you spend separated by that amnesic wall, the longer you have to have your own experiences and grow into your own people. So it's not just different states of consciousness. And that's where it is really important to remember that you really are separate as different people in the way that you function mentally.
It's like a worm.
No.
Did that make sense when I said that?
Oh, how you get cut in half and then
How
they
you
become two?
get cut in half.
Yeah.
And technically, they're still the same worm, but they're not the same worm, and they're gonna exist as different worms.
And they're gonna go and have their own
They're gonna have
lifetimes.
their own worm lives. Except like it's like if you were a worm and you kept getting cut, but you were in the same biome.
Yeah.
But the biome was what everyone saw. So in our head, we're all just worms. We're all just worms.
Oh, absolutely. OSDD valid systems are very valid, and also
it does. Here's the thing, can I think say about OCD?
yes, I think I know what you're gonna say.
Is that like, look, I think that we're an OCD 1B system, but we've got diagnosed with DID. It's literally based on what your psychologist or psychiatrist, depending on if your psychologist has a doctorate and is given that medical like ability to diagnose, because that's a specific thing. Whether they believe that DID is always amnesia, or whether they believe that DID is amnesia exists.
OSDD shouldn't exist because it's really just DID with alternate symptoms, and it's a spectrum disorder.
Yes.
And the reality is that like a main treatment for DID is working to break down amnesic barriers day to day. So then is the goal for DID to
Just
have
be
it
OCD.
become OSDD? Like, it's just a slight symptomatic difference. And it's just a part of the spectrum. I think that OSDD is, I don't think that it's stupid, and that sounds really bad to say it that bluntly, but I think it's stupid, and I think that the only thing it does is make it harder for people who are diagnosed as OSDD systems, who people know even less about their condition, and invalidate them because they're like, oh, but you don't have to deal with this part. And it's like,
Everything is hard.
if you're a system, you've been through fucking enough.
Everything is always hard. It's like how the ring system talked about this once,
Yeah.
where they talked about how like you also only get diagnosed if it's causing you problems. At a certain point, if you heal to a point where like everything is fine, technically, in all technicalities, you don't have a disorder anymore.
Yeah.
You would just be a system. So
Yeah.
like it's whoever you're talking to decides to define psychology and how the like DSM and like assessment system works. Cora is very cute.
She's passed out. Thank you, silly bug. Thank you. Yeah. OSDD is stupid.
I do think that. Like, it's like how I think about, like, whenever I talk about having DID, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't say that, and I should just say that it's OSDD, but, like, here's the thing. What I have on physical paper is DID.
Yeah.
Like, I brought my computer, I could show it to you right now, I'm not gonna, because I have nothing to black it out. But, like, that's just kind of how it is with doctors. It's what they believe exists in that sort of format, you know?
And also,
Like, I was also diagnosed with PTSD with dissociative symptoms. Like, you know, it's really what they're going to say about it.
yeah, we're diagnosed with PTSD with dissociative symptoms, and our therapist that we're leaving now, which
Whatever.
it's a whole thing. But she was talking before about how PTSD and DID not only are comorbid, but are on the same dissociative spectrum,
Yes.
which is fascinating. And just, anyways, all this stuff. But there are also many therapists out there who are highly trained, who might even have like a lot of experience with DID, who don't know what OSDD is.
I mean, that happened with us.
Yeah.
When we talked to our evaluator, she's worked with dissociative disorders, and she like talked to us about it before. Like, she's diagnosed people with it before. But she didn't really know about OSDD in terms of like diagnosing with that. She's always just diagnosed people with DID because she believes that if you have like amnesia, then it's DID.
Yep.
What I don't know what this person was saying, but they asked something.
I
I
do not know.
don't know what that is. Sorry, I'm reaching across the
No,
screen.
you're okay. Yeah, giving everybody.
Oh my god, I can't erase it. Can you backspace that?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. If you could like download someone's brain data, one day maybe.
Yeah.
You know when they put actual chips in our brain.
Yeah.
And then they like download our brain data.
Do it, please. I want to be chipped.
I want to have a save file forever. Can you
Cora,
imagine having a
you're
save
chipped.
file?
You chipped. Has it ruined your life?
No.
Do you need to go and stand up on a podium and tell all of the Republicans how horrible your life is because you've been microchipped?
Can I say something about that actually?
Yeah.
Sorry, I got really passionate about this because I was thinking about Hawaii. Because recently, this influencer came to Hawaii and they got their friend to get the vaccine and get the positive score so they could go to Hawaii. They didn't get vaccinated. They lied about it on their official documents and went to Hawaii, and they had COVID. They had COVID. They got someone to lie about it and faked their document so they could go to Hawaii when they had COVID, where they only have 2 hospitals on the island. And this is why I'm passionate about this. For my cat, who at the time was my ESA, she's not anymore, but for my cat, and now my dog too, in order for them to fly to Hawaii, they need 2 different vaccines. One that's the rabies one, has to be checked up. They also need to get their like blood tested, which is money, before they're able to fly, because they need to have their blood tested and wait 30 days after the blood test to make sure for sure they have no rabies. They also need to have papers from the vet as well as from the doctor if they're an ESA. They also need to have a plan with where they're going to be when they come shipped in, or if they're going to be with you, and how that's going to work. And at any time during that process, when they're flying in, the quarantine area of Hawaii can be like, I don't think that was good enough. And then they can keep your pet for 30 days and charge you for it the whole time. So if my animal has to go through more problems than you to go to Hawaii, you can get a vaccine. Personal rant that I had to say.
Absolutely.
When animals have more requirements than human beings.
Yep.
Like, I'm smart.
Well, also,
You would get the COVID vaccine.
I think there's a thing where PetSmart just stopped selling shock collars because they think it's inhumane. But shock therapy was just ruled to be able to start being used for people with autism
It
in
doesn't
like a
work.
certain place or something.
It never works. One of our abusers in high school was fine. Like I always cover that with like, it's fine though. But like in high school, she was actually treated with shock therapy. She didn't have autism. She was just depressed. And for some reason, she got stuck in this situation in one of the hospitals she went to where they treated her with shock therapy. Guess what? It didn't work. And she's still depressed to this day.
Shocker.
Shocker. She's still mentally
Bad
ill.
humor. Dark humor. Shocker. Shock therapy doesn't work.
Shocker, it doesn't cure BPD. All it does is make you afraid to talk about your symptoms. That's literally what I think they think, like why they think it works, is because they shock you until you feel better. So in the end, you're just going to lie about how you feel so that you don't get shocked anymore.
Yeah.
Like, horrible.
We actually did just recently get Cora a shock collar. We're not ever going to use the shock part of it, I don't think, but it has a beeper on it.
I think that they just need to come up with beep collars by themselves that are just beepers.
Do.
Because now, like, the only way you can get a beep collar is if it's a shock collar too.
Yeah.
Like, just get a beep collar, but they don't make them like that, and I don't know why.
Yeah. There's a beep and a vibrate on this one, and we just got it because we're going to be taking her to Texas, and she's going to be on a ranch for a little bit of time, where there are horses and cows that could kick her in the head and kill her. So we'll be playing fetch, and there's also like snakes and stuff. And if she was going towards something that seemed like a bad idea, we need to have something that's going to be more, and also for like long range. I don't know how well she'll be able to hear us. I'm just very clear of come back now.
The vibrating collar, it also works for some dogs. Our dog completely freaks out with the vibration. Oh my god, hi. But with the beep, we trained our dog to come to us whenever they hear the beep, and it's a savior for dog parks too.
Yeah.
Sometimes there will be aggressive dogs, and our dog always comes back when he hears the beep because it takes him out of the state when he's getting aggressively attacked by someone.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's really funny, and I enjoy that you remember that. The name is not for us; it's just when we're called that. But so many dogs are named Sadie.
It is a dog name.
Yeah. No, the one that we got, it's right here. It has a vibrate button and a beep button.
You know what does make me upset though sometimes with those collars is the fact that they make the shock button the biggest button. I think that the beep
Yeah.
button should be the biggest button.
This one, it's nice because they're separated.
Oh,
so
nice.
This one, the beep and the vibrate are like on one thing, and then the shock and then the slightly more intense shock are on another thing.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
I really like the one that we have just because of like how nice it is. It was very expensive, but we also use it a lot more. But we do remember to charge it now.
Yeah.
Because Ludo's gotten so much better with listening. But
This one has like the vibrate and the sound are up here, and then the shocks are right here.
that's nice. So that's
And-
completely separate.
Yeah. And then I was like, because Keller was the one who was like, she needs to have this. I'm worried. I don't want her to like get hurt. He had a dog that got killed by a horse. So I was like, okay, but if we do that, you're going to test it on your neck before we put it on hers. She has fur between her and it, so it'll be
Also,
less. So if
For
you
anyone
do
who's
it,
like
it's
really
okay.
worried about the shock thing, what you can do with these is you can
This has 99 levels.
put it to level 1 or 0. So
Yeah.
if you leave it at 0 and you like press the button, it's not going to change it because you can lock it at a certain like level. Like what is it? I have the one with Ludo.
Yeah.
The shock is on like 5, and it's literally only been used once. And I
Yeah.
can't even feel it on my hand, but we have only used it once when we were at the dog park and he wasn't listening to the beep and a dog was like attacking him.
Yeah.
And then he came to us for sure. I was like, yeah, the beep is perfect.
Hey, Cora, you want to do a little vibrate?
You want to feel.
She does not
Vibrate
care.
Does not care.
I don't think she'll notice the shock either, honestly.
Well, as long as you have it like 1, it's
on
not.
one.
It's literally not gonna. She won't feel it.
Yeah.
The one, I don't even know what the 1 is for. I think it's just for
The one-
electricity.
Okay, on this one I can feel it.
You can?
Do you want to feel it just on your arm?
Sure. I don't feel anything.
Really?
You also feel it from here though. You put it onto the wrist
Yeah.
or onto the hand. That's where it's the most sensitive. Oh yeah, I can feel my hand, like my
Yeah.
wrist here. Like on the one we have, the 1 is so low that I actually like don't even know if it's happening.
Yeah, we literally got a shock thing for muscle relaxing a while ago.
Oh my god,
so
you
we
use
might
this
start
for your
using
muscle
this and just, like-
relaxer? You put it for your neck? They should.
Oh damn. Yeah, no, that's scary. Yeah.
You can lock it on those though now.
Yeah, this one, even if we do this, it doesn't
not gonna
change the
change
level. It only changes it if we like hold
Do,
it down and hold one of these down. And, like,
I like the way they make them now. If they're gonna make when they make them so that they like you can set it, which is really nice. Being
Yeah.
able to set it. Because we got worried. It's one of the reasons why we got the new one.
Yeah.
Is our old one didn't have like a level setter,
Mhm.
but our one we have now has a level setter, so it's not gonna change.
Yeah, and like this one is kind of cool. It has 4 dog settings, so if you have 4 dogs, you only need 1 of them.
When you have 4 dogs, oh my god, I can't imagine the money.
Yeah.
So much money.
I want to get her a puppy.
Let's clone her.
Yeah.
Maybe let's get rid of Ludo and we'll clone her 2 times. I'll take one and I'll name it Bora.
Bora.
I'll call it Borovic.
Okay, one of my favorite things is that often when we're just out and we're talking to her, we'll call her Cups. And I really like the idea that people just think that her name is Cups. And I think that's a very cute dog name. Your nail.
I always dreamed of having a dog that looked like Cora, but with curlier hair.
I'm worried about your nail.
What you could do actually is they have like this powder.
Mhm.
That's what people use when they cut the nails too deep, and
Yeah.
put the powder on it, and it like makes like a little barrier, so it's healed basically.
Well, the thing is, the actual like place where her flesh is fine. The issue is that the nail is still there on top of that, and she doesn't want me to cut that off.
I forgot that. Oh my god! I forgot to bring your little wrap for your thing.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm clumsy.
Woo! We do have shoes for her. I think they're in my place. They might be here. I don't know. The quick fish part. That's funny. Do you want to maybe? I feel like I'm kind of reaching the end of the live stream energy, and maybe we make some food since you haven't eaten today.
Sure. I don't care. I never do anything.
I got mac and cheese and chili today.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I'll line this up. Hold over here. Okay, goodbye, everyone. Thank you for joining. And for anyone over here, the replay of this will be over on YouTube. So, cool stuff. Okay, bye.